Yes, this is Mr. Controversy, and this is the infamous three-point conversion station. Keep it locked.
On this episode of Brownstown, USA, we will talk about the recent releases that the Browns made of Jamie Collins and Darren Fells. We'll also dive into the trade of Olivier Vernon for Kevin Zeitler. And then we'll also talk about if we feel that the Browns will make any free agency noise this season. And also give you some predictions on maybe if we might release anybody else on the team. So, stay tuned, and thanks for listening to Brownstown USA, powered by the three-point conversion. See you in a sec.
Got it back, cause I'm brown. So what's up? Coming at you live in direct. Yo, dude, represent. Mr. Roller Southtown. With that new sound. As we get down.
From coast to coast, representing all the dog pound with breaking or semi-breaking news. This is the Brownstown USA podcast, powered by the three-point conversion. The three-point conversion where fans' opinions matter. I'm Eric, and over there is LA.
What's going on, everybody? Brownstown USA, powered by the three-point conversion. And, of course, we're coming here with a quick blip of a pod for you guys because we had some Browns news over the weekend, and we wanted to make sure that we talked and discussed it with you guys before we started getting into the meat and potatoes of free agency. Free agency starts technically today. I guess if you want to say technical, you can start tampering, but it really kicks off on Wednesday. So we want to get some information into you guys really quickly, and then after that, we'll be back with you later on this week with hopefully some free agency things going on. So, Eric, we seen over this weekend, everybody was going back and forth and pining for different things, but I'm going to save that for a little bit later in the show.
All right.
But let's discuss this. We had two of our brothers and Browns leave us this weekend. One, a name that we anticipated. Another name, I wouldn't say it was an anticipation, but not so much of a like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. So none other than talking about the releases of linebacker Jamie Collins and also tight end Darren Fells. So wanted to get your opinions on this, and let's break it down.
All right, let's start off with the obvious one, Jamie Collins. We knew this was coming. I'm going to be honest with you. We all knew it was coming. It doesn't matter how well he did at the end of the year. The fact of the matter was, even though he led the Browns in tackles, he did not live up to the hype that we had when he first got here. That first year, if you remember, I believe it was the first half year technically, he looked like a stud. And then all of a sudden, for the money we paid him, we weren't looking for we were looking for a Pro Bowler, All-Pro, etc., etc., etc. And he failed to deliver.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, we discussed this last week as well. And, you know, we knew that he went up and down. And pretty much, you know, the knock on him was the fact of his just, you know, I don't know if it was that he just didn't want to be here anymore. I mean, I could understand, you know, especially with the fact of, you know, when we were losing. But, you know, he stayed. We signed him to a new contract, and then it started getting exciting. So I'm not sure, man. You know, kind of to take everybody back, how we got Jamie Collins. I still remember this fateful day. I was in my kitchen cooking an omelet, actually, when the news broke. But back in 2016, he was traded to the Browns from New England for a third-round draft pick. Now, I would love to do some research and see what that third-round draft pick turned into for the Patriots. But, you know, it is what it is. Maybe we can get that up for you guys later. But looking at it now, as far as how Jamie got here to us, Eric, and what our compensation was for it, and the contract we ended up giving him, was it worth it, or are the Patriots geniuses like how everybody always make him out to be.
You know, here's the thing. We all know the reason why Jamie Collins was traded. It was because of, well, to be honest, it was because he pissed off Belichick, for lack of a better word. He has that effect. So Belichick obviously saw him as expendable and did it. And if I recall, they still won the Super Bowl that year. The fact of the matter is, Jamie Collins is not the player that people think he is. There's a lot of questions about his character, as we've seen. There's been some mention of did he act and that he might have been lazy at times, which I'm not going to speak on that because the only player I know that was really lazy for a fact was Albert Hainsworth. But the thing is, I think that this was more Patriot genius than Cleveland Browns intelligence, for lack of a better word.
Right. And we got to remember, too, 2016, different regime, different things going on. A lot of different things going on. 2016 seems like an eternity now as far as when that happened. But, again, wish nothing but the best of luck to Jamie. Again, he threw out over 100 tackles for us last season. So, as up and down as it was, he still was there at big points in time to get us to our 7-8-1 record. So I definitely appreciate him. Again, he's getting up there over 30. It just came down to the fact of what the politics is in the NFL, that when you get over 30, I mean, unless you're a QB or just a dynamic player a la Antonio Brown, you're not going to really get that kind of money. They're going to look for the gamble as far as, cutting you, restructuring your contracts, basically replacing you in the draft because everybody wants to get younger. Everybody wants to take advantage of these rookie deals that is in place. And so, you only got a certain window to make this kind of money. So that's why I really don't ever judge a player for doing what he does, especially if he's trying to make more money, because it's a sticky business out there.
It really is. The fact of the matter is, when you talk about that kind of thing, I definitely agree. You should get your money while you still can. But at the end of the day, you also can't be upset when that player does or doesn't perform, for lack of a better word. I mean, it's sort of like what we're seeing in baseball, for example, right now with the Bryce Harper and Manny Machado signings. You just saw these massive contracts. The minute that they struggle, though, every news outlet, every team outlet, everything is going to get on the case of those teams.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree, man. And like I said, it's just like it's a catch-22 because, we are on here to talk about contracts and money and value of the player. And then at the same time, if they don't do well, it is what it is. So, again, it's not our money that we're spending. It's just about our, I guess, fan loyalties and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And also, to answer your question, I figured out what happened to that draft pick.
Cool.
So what happened was New England actually traded it to New Orleans. New Orleans then used it on linebacker from Florida Atlantic, Trey Hendrickson.
What did New Orleans get back from it? New England get back from the New Orleans trade.
I don't know for sure, but I want to say that might have been the Brandon Cooks trade.
Ooh.
Because remember, that trade saw the Patriots get Cooks for a few draft picks.
Yeah. Ooh. Well, they say the Patriots are out here playing chess, not checkers. So, wow. Yeah. Well, anyway, moving on so that we don't get upset. We also seen another fellow Brown get released as well, and that fellow Brown is Darren Fells. Now, Darren Fells, not known so much for his receiving and production as far as on the field, even though I believe he caught Baker Mayfield's first touchdown throw of his career.
I believe he did.
Yeah. Okay. So even though he'll always be known for that, and that'll be Browns a Browns trivia question out there. So if you want to win some money, just remember that, jot that down. He's a blocking tight end on the I believe he's 31 as well.
32.
32. And at the end of the day, the thing about us as far as being Browns fans is that we get connected to our players. We develop fake relationships with them. They're our dudes. We sit down and have brews with the Browns players. Like, that's just how we are as far as connection and what makes being a Browns fan so special. So it's not always easy to see a name, leave. You know what I'm saying? We have separation issues. I'll say it. But it was a move that didn't surprise. There was some rumors that came out that said that they were in talks to possibly trade him to the Jets. But at the end of the day, Jets don't really have any draft picks like that. So, they just waited it out, and just like everybody else thought, we released him. So I know he'll land on his feet. Blocking tight ends are definitely something that teams want to bring in. And like I said, that interest with the Jets was really, really there. How do you feel about the Fells release?
To be honest, I'm not overly surprised, but I'm more surprised at the fan reaction. Look, I'm going to say he was a good blocking tight end, but the thing is, people were sitting here saying that he's a good all-around tight end. He's fantastic. His hands are so great. The problem is, yeah, his hands look great, but they also look great in a very small portion size. I mean, 12 targets and 11 receptions compared to Njoku, who had over 80 targets, if I remember correctly. Now, as a production standpoint, I think it was a little curious as to releasing him at this point, just because this is a very thin tight end market. And we've talked about this in the past. DeValve's future is very unknown. Orson Charles, honestly, I don't think he has a future here anymore. So you have those two. What?
The tight end name that I've been hearing bounced around is Eifert.
I know that Eifert's been brought up. So there's been a couple people bouncing Jared Cook around as well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I texted that to you last night. Yeah, I seen Jared Cook as well. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You first.
Well, I was gonna say, to be honest with you, man, I'm not really caring about the tight end position. Like, I'm not looking. Like you said, it's very thin as far as free agency, but the draft is very deep. So you can get some value there. The thing about this draft, every analyst said this before the draft. They said this is the draft that you want to have a ton of, 2 through 5 picks. You know what I'm saying? You want to have a ton of those picks because there's a lot of good players out there, and the Browns have just that. So I know that Dorsey is going to fill out and bring in people. And that's not going to be a big issue. And I know Njoku is going to work his butt off on that blocking too.
Absolutely. I mean, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I know a lot of people are – I think a lot of people are also overanalyzing the whole Njoku thing. He wasn't saying that he's going to get released. He wasn't saying he's going to get traded. Because let's be honest, Njoku was probably our best weapon last year. I hate to say it, like, he was the one guy that Baker could throw to, and about 80 to 85% of the time, you knew he was going to catch it, and you knew he was going to do something good. Look, I know that a lot of people bring up Rashard Higgins, and he had a great year. Njoku, as a tight end, had nearly 600 yards last year. That's unheard of for one of our tight ends. I mean, last tight end to do something even close to that might have been Jordan Cameron, because Barnage was not bad, but he didn't have, a whole abundance of numbers like that. Kellen Winslow Jr., if he wasn't riding his motorcycle without a helmet, was okay, but let me just say it. I think it's a good move. I think that Njoku is going to improve. He needed to work on the catching last year. He did. And now he's got to work on blocking, which I think he will. But people are overanalyzing it.
Well, the thing about it is that if you listen to a lot of the experts, draft analysts, people that really, really dig their teeth into it, they say that tight end is one of the hardest positions to come into the league and actually get production out of right away. It takes a couple of years for these guys to get it down because they're not only just a part of the passing game, but they're also a part of the run blocking game. And there's a lot of different schemes and stuff like that because a lot of times they move these tight ends either closer to the line or they split them out. So it's a lot of different schemes and stuff like that that they use these tight ends for. When in college, a lot of them were, just lining up as a receiver sometimes or something like that. So I get it. I'm not impatient when it comes to Njoku. Normally, my rule of thumb for most players when they get drafted is I give them at least 3 years, especially when it comes to the NFL, in order to properly start to, you know, give my take on them. I hate the people that are always quick with the knee-jerk reactions of calling somebody a bust or something like that. I hate that, especially if it's like the first year. Like, it's like, come on, man. And then I also hate the knee-jerk reaction to calling somebody a bust due to injuries. You cannot project injuries. You can't call somebody a bust due to injuries. I'm sorry. You just call them injury-prone. Like, that's it.
Absolutely. I mean, but anyways, I think that right now, I expect us to be taking a tight end in the second or third round at this point. Like, a lot of people are bringing up Noah Fant. They're bringing up Hawkinson. And you know what? That's all well and good. I mean, the fact of the matter is you have your chance to build your twin towers, essentially. You have your chance to build that Jeremy Shockey and guy that was opposite of Jeremy Shockey. I don't remember the name, but he was there. You have your chance to build up your Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski. Hey, I'm not going to get into Aaron Hernandez, the person, but as a player, he was awesome. Even you have to admit that.
Yeah, nah, you're right. You're right. But, again, like I said, definitely wish the best of luck to Jamie Collins and to Darren Fells. I know that they'll be landing on their feet soon. We will keep you guys updated on where they land. On guess what? The Facebook page, because Brownstown USA now has a fan page that you can follow, as well as the group, as well as on Twitter, Instagram, and we're everywhere now. So that's that. That's there. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about the humongous trade that went down over this weekend, and plus what we think about the upcoming free agency. This is Brownstown USA, powered by the 3-Point Conversion. Be right back.
Hey, what's good? It's your boy Nate Burrows from the NFL Network and CBS. When the illest to do it. Hey, you listening to the 3-Point Conversion Radio. Don't you go anywhere. It's lit. It's lit.
And we are back, Brownstown, USA. I'm LA, and across from me is always my main man, Eric, and we are talking releases, trades, and free agency. Oh my, that's what we do. So, thanks again, guys, for listening. You are listening either through iTunes or listening through Spreaker. Soon we'll be on iHeartRadio. We'll let you guys know when that happens, and also Spotify and everywhere else. But wherever you're listening, please just leave us a review. Let us know what's going on. And that's what helps this show grow and helps us prosper. So definitely appreciate you listening in. Hit that subscribe button as well and never miss an episode. So, Eric, we just got done talking about who departed from us. Let's talk about somebody who came to us. Okay? So, over the weekend as well, the Browns have a trade in principle, because we're not allowed to actually make it official yet until Wednesday, but they have a trade in principle with the New York Giants where we traded for Olivier Vernon and we traded to them Kevin Zeitler in a nutshell. And then we also swapped third and fourth round picks, so they gave us their third, and we have.
Actually, I think we got their. I think we gave them
fourth and fifth.
Yeah, I think we gave them our fifth, and we got their fourth.
We got their fourth. I'm sorry. Yeah. So, So, as Eric just said, that's what happened. Overall, the trade initially I sent a message to you, man, and I said, hey, I don't like it. I was like, bull crap, bull pucky. I don't like it. And then after the day went on, and after you convincing me, I'm actually on board with the trade. So, Eric, why don't you let everybody know what you told me and your overall thoughts of it, and then I will let everybody know like why I guess I came to the dark side.
Well, let's just go ahead and start with something that I didn't bring up. First off, moving up in this draft is great. I hate to say it, but the fact of the matter is, when you can move up in a draft that, let's be honest, this is the past two drafts have been players that we needed. Last year, we needed a quarterback, and we had the perfect draft class to get it. And as we've seen, we might have taken the best quarterback for us last year. Moving on to this year, just looking at what we need from defensive tackle to tight end, now to guard to linebacker, we are now able to take our time with this draft, as well as now having assets if we really wanted to trade up and make a move here. But that's one thing I didn't bring up for obvious reasons. So before I go any further, I'd like to get your thoughts on that one really quick.
No, I mean they're all good points. Yes, like I just said, a second ago, you want to have two through four, 2 through 5, as many picks as you can. So, absolutely, moving up in the draft is awesome. I have no problem with that. I think the knee-jerk reaction, Eric, was the fact that as soon as we trade for anybody, I always run and check out not only their contract, but also check out their stats and what Pro Football Focus has them ranked as and everything.
Yeah.
Pro Football Focus ranks him as 13 best pass rusher in the league, right behind, crazy enough, Myles Garrett at 12.
I mean, you really can't get that kind of production, and well, the fact is, if you can get to the top 15, you have a deadly combination right there. I mean, not for nothing, we weren't going to get that with Agba. And I'm going to be honest with you, one of the things that made me pull my hair out was everyone saying, Agba's fine. Go look up his stats, and you know what the first thing that pops out to me is? Myles Garrett had, 13 and a half sacks last year?
Yeah.
That's as many sacks as Agba's had in his 3 years in Cleveland. I don't want to hear the injury excuse. I don't want to hear any of this type of stuff. The fact of the matter is, Myles Garrett missed most of last year with a high ankle sprain. Still had 1 sack per game, essentially. Where was Agba with that? And when you have someone that's as dangerous as Garrett, shouldn't he be getting more sacks? And shouldn't that person get more sacks, considering that they're focused more on that guy?
Yeah, true. Like you said, very good point. Agba only had 12 and a half sacks in his 3 years with Cleveland. Like you said, if you're opposite of Myles Garrett because everybody is double teaming him and stuff, you should be eating over on that side. Now, I'm not going to poo-poo on Agba just yet because of the fact that I think he can be a very good depth player. I don't want to see him go.
No, absolutely not. I mean, he'll be – I honestly have a feeling that him and the other kid from Miami, I want to say it's Rod Thomas or Rob –
Chad Thomas, yeah.
Chad Thomas. Okay, no, it's not the singer from Matchbox 20. But
I thought his name was Chad Thomas.
No, Rob Thomas is the singer from Matchbox 20. Chad Thomas is our guy. Although,
I was like, hold on, you trying to tell me?
Although the funny thing is, they're both music. But anyways, the thing is, I think that we'll see more of a rotation with that. The problem with Chad Thomas last year was he didn't get many opportunities just because, well, we already had our people in place, essentially. That said, though, I think a lot of people were quick to pull the, oh, well, he's injured all the time. Olivier Vernon's always in. He has the only 2 years he was injured were the 2 years he was with the Giants. And I'm going to be honest with you, when you play in New York, there is a good chance that you're going to struggle or you're going to get hurt because of all the pressure that is put on in those major cities, unless you're used to it by now.
Well, I mean, another good point, like I said, is just that you need that depth. And then also too, Vernon has been out. He's been dinged up for the last couple of years. And then also, we already talked about Myles Garrett and his weak ankles. He has weak ankles, and he's missed some time too. So it's not bad to have somebody there that you can at least depend on to come fill in, for a couple of games, maybe 3-4 games if you need them to, or just to, if you get injured in the middle of the game, okay, go in there, produce at a high level, finish out the game so we can get this win. So I don't want to see Agba leave. If they do, I get it, and I guess I'll swallow it and just, give a salute and say, endorse it, we trust. But at the end of the day, I want to see him stick around and go from there. The dude is huge, man. I mean, seeing him in person, man, was crazy. So, yeah, and I know a lot of people have talked about moving Agba interior. I don't agree with that. That's not his natural position. That's not what he's going to do. Apparently, when somebody can't produce sacks and stuff, it's more about technique and learning how to just get adjusted with the game. So I'm not going to just switch him to another position and then all of a sudden see his production go down even further, or you lose the player mentally because the player's like, look, man, I'm a DN, okay? Let me try to get this straight. Let me iron this out. Because as much as we're complaining about this or, saying something about this, I'm pretty sure he's thinking about it too. So, that's just what it is. Now, let's discuss the departure of Zeitler. Zeitler, definitely a fan favorite. Him and his wife have done a ton for the city of Cleveland, charity work and everything. Crazy enough is he got traded on his birthday. I kind of felt something weird was happening when we put out happy birthday. Something in my mind was like, dude, something's going to happen. But yeah, so, good dude, great family, big for city of Cleveland. Everybody, Eric, has talked about the fact of, oh my God, Zeitler was such a good guard, didn't allow any sacks, didn't miss any games for the 2 seasons that he was with us. Why would we be so stupid and trade this guy?
You know what? My message to those people is this. Do you realize we actually had a pretty good pretty good guard on the roster last year? The problem is there was just no chance that he was going to be able to show what he's got. I mean, look, I can understand that people didn't want to get rid of something good because, well, why would you? Because the line was excellent last year, let's be honest. But the problem is Zeitler was starting to get up there in age a bit. And not for nothing, you don't know if he was going to be – you know that he was probably going to be able to produce, but you just didn't know what you would get ultimately as someone gets older in age. That said, we still had Corbett, who is a Swiss Army knife of a player ultimately. A lot of people were thinking he was going to be moved to center because Treader's contract is up at the end of the year, I believe. But next year, not this upcoming year. I mean, this upcoming year, not this past season. But the thing is, if you remember, Corbett was viewed as one of the better guards in the draft last year. And if you're not going to give him a chance and you're just going to use him as that rotational depth piece, you might have just wasted that second-round pick.
Right. And that's the point, a good point that you're bringing up. Eric, this is a good problem to have. And I would rather the fans, cry about this than and for us to be able to explain and say, this is what happens when you have depth on your team. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? This is what happens when you have depth on your team. You have a guard that, to be honest with you, guards don't get paid that much, okay? Tackles the premium position.
Yeah.
He was the third highest paid guard, I believe, in the NFL. Mm-hmm. I believe he just turned 31, I think he just turned 31, with his birthday being on Friday.
Coincidentally, how many players are we getting rid of that are in their 30s right now?
Well, I mean, that's what, 3 so far, right?
Yeah, and yeah. So three players that are either 31 or 32 within the week.
Yeah, are gone. So, like, here's the thing. Like you said, Dorsey drafted Corbett to step in. Even though everybody want Corbett to be a tackle, he's better suited for guard. Everybody that has either been an offensive lineman or just an analyst in general has agreed that he's better suited to be a guard. Dorsey and them watch the practices every day.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to say. So for Dorsey to make a trade like this, he must have been really impressed by what he's seen from Corbett in the practices. Now, I know we only seen Corbett play in preseason, but he is there with Corbett during the season at every single practice. And to me, when you're a lineman coming in, it's very rare that a rookie lineman can come in and just tear it up, okay? It's a hard position to learn. So he got a chance to sit behind a great guard, learn for an entire year. Now he can step in. Now that guard position is at a rookie contract, and then we were able to trade something good to get back something better on the opposite side of the ball, because we didn't want to sit up there and and we might still go get a rookie in the draft, but I mean, how many rookie defensive linemen just come in and tear it up with sacks and stuff right away either? Sometimes it's a gamble. You got to roll the dice. So why not go get a proven guy and get, younger and more cheaper on the line and go from there? And that's exactly what this was.
Exactly. That's also not to mention that when you talk about it ultimately, and this was one of the things that did annoy me, people that were calling Corbett a bust because he didn't play. The fact of the matter is, I wouldn't necessarily call them bust just because they didn't play, because here's the thing. I would rather have as you said, I would rather have somebody learn. If I remember correctly, I thought Corbett was taking lessons from Joe Thomas during the preseason last year. So even though
Joe's been working with them and helping them out a lot coming in.
Exactly. So the fact of the matter is, there's a vote of confidence from Joe Thomas, which, let's be honest, he's essentially a prophet here in Cleveland. So the fact of the matter is, this isn't to say that it's a bad thing that he sat, because if you're having him learn from both Zeitler and Joe Thomas, those are two of the best players that have ever put on a jersey that have played offensive line. The other thing is, if they're really that concerned, there's still some quality guards in free agency. I mean, the name that someone brought up was Roger Saffold from the Rams. Look, I'm not saying go out and get somebody. I want to see what Corbett can do. I just think that if he does well,
we're still going to need to assign somebody to back him up. I mean, I wouldn't mind bringing in a veteran to back him up, in case he gets injured or something or goes down.
Absolutely. All I can say is that if he does as well as what people are saying he's going to do, I hope that crow tastes good to a few people.
Absolutely, and that's what normally ends up happening anyway. And we're starting to see that with Dorsey. Like I said, give Dorsey a chance, give him I understand this is unknown territory for us, to be picked by analysts to win the AFC North and all kinds of stuff, to not be a sleeper anymore, but we're a actual pick to win the AFC North. And then, to have a quarterback and then have to sit there and wait to be, for our draft to take place because we're not number one or in the top 3 this time. This is all new territory, I know. So take it one step at a time, Browns fans. Let's breathe. We'll get through this together. But we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about if the Browns will make some noise this free agency. This is Brownstown, USA. Be right back.
I'm Larry Gajobi from the Cleveland Browns. I'm rocking with the 3-Point Conversion Radio.
And we are back, Brownstown, USA, LA. Across from me is Eric, as always. And in case you didn't know, Brownstown, USA is powered by the 3-Point Conversion. the 3-Point Conversion, where fans' opinions matter. Make sure you jump over to the 3pointconversion.com. Check out all the latest interviews with some huge athletes, articles, and everything that your heart can desire at the 3pointconversion.com. Also, follow them on all your major social media outlets at the 3-Point Conversion and on Twitter and Instagram at 3PTCNVRSN. Man, I don't know if you were able to catch, man, but, the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge, man, they had Evander Holyfield on this past weekend.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, I caught a little bit of it just because I was running around like a chicken with its head cut off, but the fact of the matter is they did a great job. I got to give props to Raphael and his crew on this one. They
Absolutely
went all out.
Yeah, Raphael, Dennis, and Greg, the engineer, they're all doing great things over there at 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. That's every Saturday from 10 to 12. And then also, too, I don't want to leave out my homeboy, The Real Deal, with Damian Adams. He is doing his thing, always real good, so make sure you check out his show, too, on the 3-Point Conversion station.
Plus,
Now,
let's be honest, he's got better moves than anybody that is on the 3-Point Convert. Like, literally, this is the guy that you bring to the wedding and you want to see dance, like, right on the dance floor. Just don't expect to be going home with any chicks that night.
Gotcha. I just got this tweet. Somebody said, I'm really liking the way your Browns are looking these days. Can I get a roll tide for Freddie Kitchens? I'm tweeting them back and saying never, because I am an Ohio State fan. So I would never, ever say that.
Look, the thing is, if you are in one of those power teams, whether it's Miami, Alabama, Ohio State, you just don't say that at all. I mean, that would be like if a Florida Gators fan decided to say "War Damn Eagle." It just doesn't happen.
Right, exactly. So, Eric, free agency, like I said, the legal tampering period officially starts today at noon. And the official free agency starts on Wednesday. Is it 4 o'clock?
I believe it is 4 o'clock.
Okay. All right. Yeah, just shooting off the top of my head. But, yeah, so free agency is here. Now, we've seen and have really – we know that our GM, John Dorsey, is an aggressive poker player. Do you see the Browns being active in free agency, and why?
I actually really do right now. I mean, I don't see them going out and getting a bunch of top-tier talent. I see them going out and getting needs more than anything. So, like, obviously, I think either linebacker or defensive tackle will be filled because those are positions that are hard to come by. And this year especially, whether you're talking about Jordan Hicks or Justin Houston or C.J. Mosley at the linebacker position, or if you're talking Ndamukong Suh, or there's one other guy, I forgot who it was. The guy from the Chargers on defensive tackle. I think that there's going to be some kind of move made. That said, there is one guy that I am keeping an eye out for in the next few days.
What's that?
Wide receiver Terrell Williams.
For the Browns, you want him here?
I'm not saying I want him here. I don't want the contract he's going to demand here. But I've heard a lot of links and rumors with this guy from other state and from other sports outlets that I'm not going to name because they're inferior to us right now. But a lot of people seem to think he could be a Brown next year.
Yeah, as far as addressing, well, okay, because you threw me a couple of different things. I'll answer the free agency question real quick.
Right.
I feel the Browns will be active in free agency, but I do feel that it won't be the big names that we're looking for. I feel that, like you said, we will try to fill out the roster with needs to increase this depth with some good veteran presence. Reason being is because we do still have a first-round pick, and we know that we're going to bring in somebody with a high-profile name. Now, he could come in and be a starter, absolutely. But in order to take that next step as far as going towards the Super Bowl, getting into some meaningful playoff games, not just making the playoffs, is by lining your roster with good veterans, but getting good veterans at a good price. So that means a lot of times, guys, staying still for a second and maybe signing some of those day 2 and day 3 guys after some of those bigger names fly off the shelves, like the Trey Flowers and stuff like that. Let them guys go. Let them guys get all the money thrown at them, and then start getting these other guys that have maybe been on their second or third visit. Have them go ahead and come in, scoop them up for a good discount, and start filling out that roster with some good veteran depth. And that's what we need in order to start taking that next step towards the playoffs and stuff like that.
Plus, not to mention, and someone brought this up, John Dorsey is a big pro football focus guy. If you take a look, he went out and got Terrence Mitchell last year based on Pro Football Focus, if I remember correctly, or around there. And he got him for, as you said, a really good price. Guy was one of the best corners in the league last year when healthy.
Absolutely. So, now as far as Williams is concerned, I heard some great analysis on him. Want to give a shout out to friends of the show, Locked on Browns and Jeff Lloyd, man. They're really good show, good analysis, very in depth, and they do a Brown show pretty much every day unless there's something that pops up. So if you guys are just starving for Browns talk like me, I mean, it's only a quick hour show. They get in, and get off. So I was listening to him this morning. And like I said, they go really, really in depth. He's great, man. So shout out to Jeff Lloyd and Locked on Browns. But he was saying, based off of the analysis and stuff like that, reading some draft things, he doesn't feel like Williams would be a good fit for the Browns. And reason being is because if you look at Williams and how he runs routes, he's pretty much like a one-trick pony. He also, I believe he's injury prone too. Like I think I can't remember what season it was, but he's been nicked up and banged up as well. So, if you look closely last year by his numbers, he only really killed 2 of the games out of the season last year. One of them was against the Browns, unfortunately, where he just absolutely crushed us. But he's been up and down since he's been in the league, and he had the potential to be like a number 1 receiver, but the Chargers didn't view him that way. And so a lot of times you got to look at what the team looks at the person as and then put the dots together and see why. Yeah, we need a burner, but of course we have some on our squad already that could possibly emerge. And then again, we're looking at a deep wide receiver class, guys. So let's not throw 10, 15 million at him. Isn't he, what is he, 26, 27?
He's 27, and also to answer your question about the injury, believe it or not, he actually played in all 16 games the last 3 years. He just didn't start 5 games last year.
He didn't start. Okay, I knew it was something. So, yeah. So, like I said, you want to get a guy that didn't start 5 games last year and then throw him number 1 wide receiver money and say, hey, man, you're the guy? Come on, man. I think he's benefiting from the market. I mean, there's not really that many wide receivers out there. We just seen Danny Amendola get scooped up really, really fast. To the Detroit Lions. I mean, that was really fast. I was like, gosh, I thought he was going to at least take his time a little bit.
I thought he was going back to the Patriots, to be honest.
Yeah, so the wide receiver market is not there, and he just benefits from it. And I'm not knocking him on it, but he benefits from a low wide receiver market.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact of the matter is I could see that, but like I said, I've heard the name. I'm just saying watch. I don't really want – to be quite frank with you, I want to take somebody in the second round of the draft this year, whether it's, as Chris Ransom said last year, and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, or if they go out and get N'Keal Harry or so on and so forth. Look, the fact of the matter, not DK Metcalf, but the thing is, I just think that right now,
I really, really want Paris Campbell, man. Like, I just really want that guy.
Campbell wouldn't be bad either. Like, all I'm saying is, right now, our fans also got to realize one other thing. We had a rookie wide receiver last year who still caught touchdowns, is the thing, and Antonio Callaway. Look, The fact of the matter is, wide receiver, yeah, it's probably a good idea that we go out and get a veteran, but to be honest, I'm more focused on getting Richard back, probably cutting Ricardo Lewis at this point, just because I mean, as much as people want to see him back and have been saying he'll take the starting wide receiver, I don't think he will, because he had the same drop problem as Higgins, and then he missed a season because of injury. His time's up. I think his time's up.
Yeah. And with the Higgins thing, I believe, and I've heard a few people say this, but we believe that he's going to be back. The thing about it is that we probably put a low round tender on him, a 5th rounder, because we wanted another team just to negotiate the contract. I mean, just go ahead and knock it out, and then, oh, those are the numbers? Cool. All right, we'll sign you. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like we don't, do the work for us, man. Because it wouldn't make any other sense any other way. Kitchens has come out and said that they want him back. I mean, everybody wants Higgins back. So I'm pretty sure that that's really the only reason. And I mean, and we've seen it happen before. It happens all the time in the NBA. So, go get a contract negotiated. We'll go sign the dotted line, and go from there. And Antonio Callaway, like I said, definitely the potential is there as always. But the biggest thing that we were looking at is we need size. And that's really what it's going to boil down to. We just need somebody big and fast, like how we had in a Josh Gordon at the time, like how we had in Brashard Perriman when he was here. I'm still not really sure like how that's going to, pan out, because like I said, the wide receiver market right now is very thin. And if you got a guy like Tyrell Williams out there, Perryman probably could go ahead and get that cheddar like how he wants to get it. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. So we'll see. We will see, man. Do you got anything else to add before we wrap this up?
Before we wrap this up, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. $69 million is a lot of money. It's going to be allocated in the right ways. And one of the things that I think people need to realize is, one, you don't have to spend all your money right now. I've seen people saying that cutting Fells was Jimmy Haslam getting to Dorsey and being cheap. Not even close. I've seen people saying that, oh, well, Jimmy Haslam's not going to spend any of the money. He spent quite a bit of money last year. We just had so much of it, it's not even funny. The fact of the matter is, Cleveland is making these moves more. I mean, the problem is people need to realize with Haslam, and don't get me wrong, he has not been a great owner. I'm just going to say that. He's not been fantastic if you look at the track record. But people need to also come to realize this is the first time that we've had a GM that didn't have to report directly to Haslam. Let Dorsey do his damn job. The fact of the matter is, this is a guy that built a Kansas City team essentially from a porta potty into a damn mansion right now. This is a guy that helped elevate the Green Bay Packers when you get down to it, from team that was to, look, we just got this shiny new quarterback. The fact of the matter is, the Browns are in good hands. We have to stop trying to find every little crack in the armor. We need to stop trying to find every little micro problem that needs to be macro managed. The thing is, Cleveland is in really good hands right now. We have to accept that for the first time since 2004, really.
And there you have it. What a way to close out the show. Cleveland is in good hands. So, again, thank you so much for listening to Brownstown USA, our emergency episode of the trade and the releases of the Browns. anytime anything big comes out, we will have a show ready for you guys. Or we may just go ahead and see you just at the end of the week like normal to talk a little bit more free agency. So you guys enjoy the rest of your week unless we see you guys sooner. Thanks again for listening. Make sure, like I said, to leave us a review. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And as always, Cleveland is in good hands.